and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Disney Skyliner at Disney's Hollywood Studios. We are on our way to Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort with connecting flights to Epcot International Gateway, Disney's Pop Century Resort, and Disney's Art of Animation Resort.
Welcome back to Disney Marvels for week September 12th, 2021. This is episode 150. Disney Marvels, the show about Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, Muppets, Pixar, 20th Century, the parks, and much, much more. If it has to do with Disney, it's fair game. I'm your host, Matthew Gracon. Sorry we've been away for a while. We were busy, well, literally exploring the world. Walt Disney World, as it were. And we have a lot of new, fresh content to bring to you from there. Experiences, dining reviews, food, ride attraction experiences, dealing with kids, dealing with the temperature, food, and did I mention food? Yes, lots of wonderful stuff coming up in the upcoming weeks, upcoming episodes, and can't wait to bring it to you and talk about it. Plus, many other things that will be happening. Shang-Chi's coming out. We have, oh my goodness, what if? We have so many things to talk about. I don't know how I'm going to do it all, but we'll figure it out. Can't wait to talk. Can't wait to bring it along. If there's anything additional you guys want to hear, you know how to reach us, DisneyMarvels@gmail.com. So without further ado, we'll be back after these brief messages from our friends and sponsors with the show.
Hi Disney Marvels fans, my name's Tash and my BFF Mercedes and I make a weekly podcast dedicated to all things Disney. From music, movies and food and parks to fun weekly challenges, we discuss it all over at Chat Disney. You can find us on Instagram at Chat Disney or Twitter at Chat Disney UK. We release weekly episodes every Monday morning, which can be found on Spotify and the Apple Podcast app. Bye for now.
And now, on with the show. This week we have a spectacular guest. It's a first. Someone that has been talked about often. Has been mentioned often, has been requested often even. Yet she refused to come on. So I had to bribe her with a trip to Disney World, and now she decided that she'll actually make an appearance. I am talking about none other than the brilliant, intelligent, and beautiful woman that I married, my wife, Kimberly Gracon. Thank you for finally coming on the show after 3 years, 149 episodes, because this is episode 150.
Didn't really have anything to talk about till now.
We had plenty to talk about till now. So, we just got back. Well, it's been actually 2 weeks. We're a little behind schedule. We're still catching up on everything. But 2 weeks since we walked the world. We spent 8 days there and did Epcot Magic Kingdom. Well, we did Magic Kingdom Studios twice. And I just want to talk about the experience that we had. This was a trip that we started planning
A little over a year ago.
Yeah.
Over a year ago.
Over a year. And thanks to the wonderful people at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, they helped us plan everything out. And shout out to Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie York, she's amazing.
She really helped get everything together. And we started off, as I mentioned in one of my pre-travel videos, pre-travel episodes, with a lot of planning. A lot of that planning came on your behalf, dedicated to watching resort reviews, resort walkthroughs.
A lot of DFB.
Disney Food Blog, yes. Tim Tracker.
All ears.
Allears.net.
Molly.
Molly on allears.net. And Coffee with Kenobi, Dan Z's walkthrough of Galaxy's Edge. So we could really get a good feel of what to expect. Some of it...
Not even what to expect, but kind of like what we were in for, and kind of give us like a guide map of kind of what we wanted to see and what we wanted to do. Kind of make it a different trip than we had in the past. Obviously food driven a little bit, I think, this time around. We never really kind of went to Disney World for food before. At least I don't think we ever have. I don't think we went for dining to go have different experiences, but I don't think we ever went to just go say, hey, we have to go have this item.
It's the first time that I think we've picked out snacks as a key point of trying to plan our day. Where before it was, okay, we'll eat at this restaurant. We haven't eaten there before. We'll eat at this restaurant. But now, in Disney over the years, we've been going for over 20 years, that they've really stepped up their food game. Like before, there wasn't as many. There was options. There wasn't the extensive options.
Yeah, you weren't a foodie to go to Disney World. You know, you weren't. You went to Disney World to go ride the attractions or stay at the beautiful resorts or, go to the water park or spend time at the pool. You went to ride the attractions, and if you had a good meal, you had a good meal. But usually the food was, for lack of better terms, It was decent. It was just to kind of fill your stomach to get on to the next ride. You weren't really looking for anything spectacular. But I really say, like, we've gone now, every 2 years for the so we went in 2019. No, wait, let's see, we went in 2019 and then we went in 2017.
Yep.
And even in those 4 years, they have really upped their game. On the food industry and getting the best food possible out there for their guests.
And the variety.
I'm a very picky eater. So for me to actually want to go to Disney World to try new things, it was very different. I usually like to go to the same places and eat the same food because I know that, okay, I'm not going to be disappointed. And this time we kind of shaked it up a little bit and found, I think, a couple new favorites.
Cheeseburger spring rolls.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say is cheeseburger spring rolls in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, definitely. If you're really in the Magic Kingdom and if you're really hungry, definitely go over to Adventureland. And just as you're about ready to enter in, there is a little red cart with spring rolls on it. That I think there's an option for cheeseburger spring rolls and like buffalo spring rolls. Yeah. We didn't try the buffalo ones, but we did try the cheeseburger ones. I kind of regret now only ordering 2. We probably should have ordered 4 because I think we split it between like 3 or 4 of us. So I wish I would have ordered more in the hindsight. We had tried our second day to go back and eat, but we were so full from dinner that we just couldn't even stop to even think about it.
Apologize for the dog.
I guess she's
joining
bored.
in on this one too.
I guess she's bored.
So it was. And that's something I have to say about the research, because a number of times we saw with the different people that we were researching, definitely try this, this is amazing, these are pretty good. Some of the stuff that they said was amazing. Some of the stuff they said was a must try was for us a little lackluster. There wasn't something that wasn't up to our taste, and that's something to keep in mind. People can make suggestions, but take them as suggestions and not as something you must do.
Yeah.
Not like Rise of Resistance, a must-do attraction. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, a must-do attraction. Springburger cheese rolls. Cheeseburger spring rolls are fantastic. We loved them.
But that doesn't mean that you will.
That I'm not saying that it's for everybody, but it is something that is worth trying.
Yeah.
especially if you like cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
It is definitely something you unfortunately gave it the descriptor of being something like a White Castle burger.
A White Castle, almost like a White Castle burger with like a twist, I think.
I know to some people that may sound delicious. Other people may not know what we're talking
Matthew
about.
Matthew doesn't like White Castle hamburgers.
I'm not a White Castle guy. Sorry I am handing in my New Jersey card. I am not a
He's
White
not
Castle
a White Castle
guy,
burger fan.
but I like them.
Yeah,
I thought they were really...
I like White Castle, and I thought that they were
There
really
was
good.
a lot of flavor to it. It was nicely done. It was well balanced, and it wasn't... Well, none of us got to eat a whole one, so I can't say it was overly filling.
No.
But it was delicious. So, but we will get around to the food.
Yeah, we'll get around to the food probably the next episode. We just wanted to just throw that in there
another time, but
I think we should talk about. I think what we should start off with is to talk about our stay at the Caribbean beach. I think that's where we should start, since that's the resort that we picked to stay at. We picked the Caribbean beach. Well, first of all, we should say we traveled with 9 people. We have 5 in our family. My cousin Linda came with us. And then our friends Dave, Gwen, and their daughter Kaylin came with us. And they stayed over at Pop Century. We couldn't stay in Pop Century because we are a family of 5. And unfortunately, anybody over 4 can't stay at Pop. There's just not enough beds to accommodate that size party. So we stayed over at the Caribbean beach because we had the room that had the 5th sleeper that had the down Pullman bed. Yeah. So that worked out for us because then it was, Matthew and I could spend in one bed, and then we had our 2 kids in one bed, and then the other one in the pull-out bed, which they end up rotating. And I think by the end of the night, the 2 boys were sleeping. They were both sleeping in the pull-out bed together.
And they're smaller, so it's easier for them to do that. It's like a child maybe under 12. It's not a full-size twin.
Our daughter that was 15, her feet hung over it. So when you get around the 13, 14, 15th age and they're kind of tall, if you're looking at that room, they probably won't fit. Because our daughter's about 5 foot. 5'1", 5'2", and her feet hung over the edge of it. So
it's not meant for older teenager type kids. It is for younger kids.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. But this is something that they seem to be putting into a lot of the moderate resorts with the new redos of the rooms.
To accommodate family sizes of 5 and over and everything. So it worked out. The only good thing is with our other family and friends being at Pop and us being at the Caribbean beach is that we had the lovely Skyliner. So they were on the Skyliner line, we were on the Skyliner line, so we could always just meet up at the Caribbean Beach Hub and then head over to the studios together. Epcot, well, we were in Aruba 52, which was, I have to say, probably a really great location. We had a pool right outside our room, literally right outside our room, which wasn't too loud. I really never heard the loudness from the pool at all. I heard more construction noise, what they were doing with the buildings.
Well, they were doing some maintenance. They were doing some tree work. We did request a water view, which is what granted the pool access. It's being one of the secondary pools, so it's not the main pool, so it's not going to get quite as much use. But I do have to say that pool did get used quite a bit. Yeah. I saw people at 1:00 in the morning, hanging out in there.
So, but we're us being in Aruba 52, we were closer to the Riviera Skyliner hub than the Caribbean Beach hub. So we would just take the 3-4 minute walk that we had over to the Riviera Skyliner hub and hop on. If you're going to Epcot, it's a straight line right from Riviera to Epcot, and it takes about 15 minutes or so to get there. If you're going to go to the studios, then we would take the Riviera Skyliner over to the Caribbean Beach, and then we would switch and then go over to the studios onto the other line. And I guess I clocked it one day, and even with the switch, it took about approximately 6-7 minutes from the time we got on the Skyliner to the time that we got off at studios.
And as we learned with the Skyliner, when it's moving, it's great. Do expect that there can be slowdowns as they add in people who need special access. need to get onto the thing with either a wheelchair or AVC or a stroller or some reason that they need to add in a car. So they'll slow the line down to pull one car out and pull in another gondola car. That also being said, there is time. It is not an infallible mode of transportation. If anyone remembers the Skyline ride and the Sky Cars in the Magic Kingdom, some things never change. With the advancement of time, some technologies never change.
So let's just say one night in Epcot, we were stuck for about 40 minutes in the air. We had just pretty much left the Epcot station. And it was, right after fireworks. We had stayed the whole day, enjoyed a beautiful day at Epcot. Actually, the weather was great. And it was having a little bit of trouble. And we got in. All 9 of us are in the Skyliner. We get right about to the Paris section where we could actually see the new Remy ride. We could see the Eiffel Tower. And the ride just stops. And we were stuck hanging there for about a good half hour, 40 minutes before it slowly started to stroll us back to our area of hotels.
It was in B mode, but
the only good thing is that they did get us back safely. I mean, it was slow, but we did get safely. Our other party, just so if you know what would end up happening if something like this ever happened to you, since our rest of our party would have to continue on to Pop. Obviously, they weren't allowing anybody to do that. So the first stop from Epcot is the Riviera transfer station. So they let all of us off, and then our other family and friends, they provided bus transportation from the Riviera back to Pop Century for them. Just so that if something ever happens to you like that in the future, do know that they have other ways of helping you out to get back to where you need to go. All in all, yes, was it a little scary? Was it a little upsetting? Yes. But we had heard the next day that somebody who was practically in that line, waiting to get on the Skyliner that night at Epcot, obviously once it broke down, everybody that was standing in line for the Skyliner then had to turn and walk through the park and make their way to the bus stops. Well, we had heard that some people that were staying over at Pop it took almost 3 hours for them to get back to their hotels that night, after walking back to the front of the park. And because if you don't know, the Skyliner entrance and exit is in the International Gateway. So in order obviously to get to the Disney buses, you have to walk all the way to the front of the park where Spaceship Earth is. So you'd have to walk a pretty good distance to get back to the bus stops. So add in that time it's going to take you to walk, and then obviously the time you have to wait in line for a bus. And obviously if Disney's not prepared for the Skyliner to break down, they have to get all these buses in, and I'm sure that takes time to happen. So so 3 hours, thinking it was 9. I think the fireworks went off at 9 o'clock that night.
Yep.
So you figure they didn't get back into their rooms until midnight. So that was, that's a long time. So just be prepared that anything can happen.
A few other notes on the Skyliner is that if you are in a Skyliner resort, so that being the Riviera, Pop, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, to go to the studios or to Epcot, your only way to go there is the Skyliner, unless if something happens to it, then they'll run the buses. But you cannot take
lightning.
Lightning, yeah. If there's some reason that the Skyliner is not running, weather conditions, technical issues, whatever, then they'll run buses for it. But otherwise, the Skyliner is your only mode of transportation to Epcot and the studios. So that is something to keep in mind whenever you're planning your day out and just trying to figure out how you're going to get from place to place. Buses will not be an option, because we would stand when we were picking up the bus for the Magic Kingdom, Disney Springs, they have the nice little displays there that tell you approximately when the bus is coming, which we found out the approximation time was actually a lot less. The time that they showed us was further than when the buses showed up. The buses actually showed up quicker. But that, I think, also for some other reasons. But it said specifically for those two parks that you had to take the Skyliner. So that's something to keep in mind.
So hop on to the Skyliner of Doom, as we called it. by the end of our trip.
It wasn't that bad.
It was just a funny nickname. It was cute. The kids loved it. But yes, the Skyliner and Doom. Actually, you know what? Once you're up there and if it's moving the way it should, it's actually a very, very enjoyable ride. It's actually nice to look out and see things, and
it's smooth. It's just
yeah,
relaxing.
yeah. I mean, and I know everybody's like, "Oh, how hot?" Well, we were there. It was 90+ degrees, and I never felt overly hot in them at all. They have vents up on top, and the air does kind of go through it.
Actually, they have vents up top and at the bottom.
Yeah, so I never felt like I was like excruciating hot in them at all. Obviously, you have to wear masks inside. As right now, obviously, you have to wear a mask while you're inside. Obviously, up to you if you follow that rule. But I mean, obviously, if you happen to get in it with another family that you don't know, yeah, I'd probably want to keep a mask on. But obviously, if it's just you and your family, then I would think you probably could just take it down for the short ride, and then once you get to the area of transfer, then obviously put your mask back up.
Yeah. August of 2021, they are allowing commingling of non-related groups into the Skyliner, depending on the vast majority. At one point, I was coming back with the kids, so there was 4 of us. They allowed another party of 2 to come on, so there was a few more just to fill up capacity and just get the lines moving. If you're a larger group, then they may just leave it to the larger group. There was times that just the 5 of us got on, and they didn't add anyone more in.
Well, there was one time that I left the studios early one day with just my little guy, and so it was just the 2 of us, and we left early, and both from the studios to the Caribbean Beach transfer, and from the Caribbean Beach transfer to Riviera, it was just the 2 of us in both Skyliners. So because there was no wait, there was nobody standing in line, so we were able to go by ourselves. So I mean, like I said, it's an enjoyable ride. I would even suggest, if you could, just hop on, take a drink, and go just take a ride if you want. Just a nice just some nice fresh air, and just to enjoy it. If you have some downtime and you just want to rest and relax, it is a nice way to to look at things and just kind of relax. It does move pretty fast, so I would think probably from the Riviera to Art of Animation, 10 minutes maybe, 10, 12 minutes tops. I think
with the transfer, 10 at most.
I know the Epcot, from Riviera to Epcot, was longer, but
yeah, it's a little further distance.
So if you literally, you'd have to go from Art of Animation, which is the last stop, you'd have to transfer at Caribbean and then all the way to Epcot, maybe a half hour.
Yeah, but it's worth it.
And obviously, just so guys, we didn't take advantage of it because we were always in a rush to get everywhere we went. But just so you know, over at the Caribbean Beach, they do have a Joffrey's coffee stand there. It is down below the transfer center, so you do kind of have to exit the area that you're transferring, which I don't know if I like that idea. Because, you just kind of if it was still on the same platform, I think I would have been more like, oh, let me go grab a cup of coffee. But the fact that I would have had to gone off of it to get back into a line, I don't know. Well, I think that's why I never took the advantage of getting a cup of coffee, is because I would have had to do that.
Well, I think the reasoning behind that is that it follows the same rules as the monorail and the buses, and I don't think they're encouraging or prefer that you'd rather not drink
on the Skyliner.
Eat on the Skyliner. Just like on the buses, they don't want you drinking on the buses. You could bring a drink with you, but the container has to be closed. You cannot really be actively drinking from it. Skyliner, I believe, follows the same rules because they just don't want people to make a mess.
Yeah, I know.
Something happening in there.
But if you're actually if you're staying at Caribbean Beach and you're near if your room hotel is near the actual Caribbean Beach hub, please, obviously take advantage of that Joffrey's coffee, because I hear wonderful things about it. I just unfortunately didn't get a chance to try it. So that'll have to be the next trip.
2 other notes about the Skyliner quickly in my observations. If you are needing to use a vehicle to get on, be it a wheelchair or EVC or something like that, they do have wedges to go under the wheels so you're not getting thrown about inside of it. And if you unfortunately get stuck and nature calls, there is a method underneath one of the benches that you can use to help alleviate that issue. So they have taken into a number of things into considerations, and so nothing to worry about there.
But as far as the Caribbean beach, our room was really clean. I didn't have a problem. I thought our room was really good. The only thing is, we had issues. We didn't really have issues, but housekeeping, it's a little strange right now in COVID land. They will only come in and make your bed if you're not in the room. So there was one day that I needed a sheet cleaned, and it was the day that I left early with my son, and the housekeeper knocked on the door to come and change the sheets. And I said, "Oh, you're here to change the bed," and he's like, "Yeah," and then he just kind of handed me a pile and closed the door and walked away.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, so basically left us to change our own sheets. But
I think he did. You said he mentioned that he can't change it.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, unfortunately he didn't. I think when you called later on, they had told you that. But so I mean, we changed the sheets ourselves. It really wasn't a big deal. But it's just, just be prepared. If you do need it, you have to be out of the room in order for them to do any type of housekeeping. I know, just to give you guys, we had brought a couple extra garbage bags with us to help alleviate, because Disney, just their garbage cans are just so small in the rooms. If you're a family of 5 like us, we collect a lot of garbage very quickly, and it gets to be a little overwhelming. So we brought garbage bags to kind of help alleviate some of that. And then we would either leave it in the room when they came and got it, or you could always leave it outside the room for them to take. But as far as the refurbishments of Caribbean Beach, I thought they were beautiful. I loved walking in and smelling the coconut smell of the when we walked into the lobby.
Through the masks.
Through the mask, you could really smell the coconut, like, beachy smell of it. They really, really overhauled it. We hadn't been at the Caribbean. Last time we stayed at the Caribbean Beach, our daughter was probably about 3 or 4 years old.
Last time we stayed there was no Riviera, and it was the complete around the lake. Now they've taken down several of the buildings. And that's where they added the Riviera. So sometimes you will see the buses actually go through the Riviera area, the ones that you take from Caribbean Beach. But yeah, it's been many years since we stayed there, and they did a lot of refreshing, especially of the main entranceway.
Yeah.
And
it was really nice. The food court, you can mobile order your order before you get there, or you can walk up and order with the cast member of your food, especially if you want something. With the mobile ordering, if you want something specific with your meal, it's a little hard to manipulate the mobile ordering to do that. So my suggestion is if you can, if they're not, a lot of the parks are forcing you to more mobile order, whereas at Caribbean Beach itself, at the food court, they did not. You could just walk up. So if you are a picky eater and you want your burger or your sandwich or whatever it is you're ordering a certain way, my advice is to just walk up to the cast member and ask them, because you'll get very frustrated with the mobile app after a while. But otherwise, it was great. They gave us a buzzer. We walked right up. Another kind of quirky thing is that all of the paper cups that they give you are RDIF chipped.
RFD.
Yep. Oh, yeah, whatever. They are.
That's something Disney's been doing for a while. That's not new.
I don't remember that the last time we were there.
Yeah,
I know we have the refillable cups, but if you buy a paper cups.
Yeah, when they started doing that with the refillable rapid refill cups, they put RFID chips into the paper cups as well. This way, the machines know if it's allowed to grant access to pour drinks into those cups.
Yeah.
So that's not new. It just seems to be much more present. By our room now, actually, even in Building 52, we're at the ice machine is actually one of those Coke Dream machines, where you can get a variety of soft drinks and your ice from. There's no separate ice container. You just put your ice container into the under the dream machine, and where you'd put ice in your cup, you just press it and put ice in your bucket. And then you would also you can bring your refillable mug to the machine, and it will you could get your beverage of choice from there. There is no vending machine next to that for snacks. The snack vending machine found in the laundry room next to the vending machine for the laundry detergent, which is right next to that wonderful pool that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So a lot of hidden nice things. If you don't look for it, you won't find it. If you spend a moment to look for it, there's a lot of options and nice things around.
Yeah.
And particularly to the room that we were in, it was very convenient.
And then just let you know that you have 2 options for refillable mugs there currently. You have the standard Mickey Minnie like Fab 5 mug and all the different colors. I believe that one
from 2 years ago.
Same one from 2 years ago, so we opted not to get that one, and that one is still like I think the 1995 or whatever. There's there's still no dining plan, so you'd have to pay for that now because it's not part of your dining package. And then there is a stainless steel Star Wars option mug that's $29.95
$29.90
or $29.99, something like that.
Yeah. About $30.
Yeah, and I will have to say that is for $30. It's an awesome mug. I had put ice and water in it one night before I went to bed, and the next night I went to go refill it, and there was still ice in it. So it does hold a good. It does keep it cold for a very long period of time. Like I said, to go almost 24 hours with ice still in it, I think that's pretty impressive for almost a $40 mug. But it's really cool anyway. So
it's one of the name brand mug Trivi, or it's one of those.
Yeah, but it was really good.
Which brand it is?
And if you're a Star Wars fan, it's like a must-have.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, as far as the Caribbean Beach, I really enjoyed. Our stay there. Everybody was nice. Like I said, the food was okay. I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was, it was regular counter service food.
It's pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Some decent options. Like most of the restaurants, food options are limited due to supply issues and staffing issues. So you don't have the robust menus that you would typically have at current. But the food options that you do have there, I found very pleasant, very good. We did not go to Sebastian's, and we did not go to... was the
outside,
Banana
like Tiki
Cabana.
Banana Cabana.
We did not go to.
It was
We
just
walked
too
by
hot.
it all the time.
It was too hot.
Yeah, we do. They seem nice. We just didn't go there.
No, it was too hot, like to eat outside
Sebastian's
and enjoy
inside.
it. It's inside, but actually, I did try to get reservations at one point, and they were booked. But otherwise everything was great. Unfortunately, the gift shop at the Caribbean Beach is not as big actually as the Pop Century. Pop Century's gift shop is actually quite large and spacious and offers a lot. The Caribbean Beach one, I didn't think was very big for the size of that resort. I would have thought that there would have been a bigger accommodations. But
it's the first modern resort, so when they built it, they didn't have as much focused on gift shops as when they built Pop Century several years later, and incorporated the gift shop almost with the food court area. So different times, different design.
Yeah. I mean, but they have all your basic toiletries if you need them. One night our son woke up and had some type of allergic reaction, and the staff was very, very nice. We called down, and they actually opened up the gift shop for us to get Benadryl for our son. The manager was quite nice to do that for us. So if you do need anything, they can do that for you. In an emergency, obviously, but they were very, very nice and they helped us out. So, but otherwise, I have no complaints really about the Caribbean Beach at all. I have other complaints about other issues, but not anything with the beach in itself. But that was good. I mean,
the one thing I would also point out from Building 52, it is a decent walk back to the main building. Main building.
Yes.
So because you have to cut across the lake, across the Middle Island. Middle Island's also where they show the nightly movies, which there's a posted schedule of each night is a specific movie. Same thing happens at a number of the other resorts. You can actually see what they're watching over at the Riviera. It's not the same movie, so you get a double feature type. Okay, who's going to get you the best movie that day? And
they do offer, like, you could do tie-dye t-shirts. They also have some activities for the kids, a couple nights a couple mid-afternoons during the day. It wasn't a close walk, but I always thought it was a pretty walk. It was actually nice to look around and look at the scenery. So it kind of made the walk bearable. I would call it. I know when we used to stay at I want to call it Dixie Landings, but Port Orleans River Riverside. I always hated that walk because I never thought there was nothing outstanding to look at. This actually was very pretty to look at. We did go to the main pool one night. My kids, with the setup of it, is very, I guess it's supposed to be like Mexican, like motif type thing, Caribbean type thing.
Fort. Almost like what you'd find in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, well, my kids, because of the way it looked something very out of Tatooine, so they kept calling it the Star Wars pool. So, they thought it was very Tatooine-ish, but they enjoyed it. They loved going down the slides, the kids area. There is a splash pad area for the kids.
There's 2 water slides, the splash pad area.
Yeah, they really enjoyed it. So, if you can, try to take some time to have some pool days. If you can, it was really, it was nice. Oh, and if you actually are at that pool, you can see the Epcot fireworks from there.
Yep. You will see.
So,
well, at that point, it was Epcot Forever, and then if they're listening to this after October 1st, you may be able to see parts of Harmonious, because off to the corner between, almost in line with the Skyliner, is where Epcot is, and you get to see the fireworks. I got some great reflective shots of the Epcot fireworks in the lake that's in the middle of Caribbean Beach. So you get some fantastic picturesque shots of just either the Riviera Resort, the Caribbean Beach Resort itself, the fireworks, a lot of stuff going on there. It is nice to walk around. You do have some beach areas. Obviously, you can't go into the lake to go swimming because it is Florida, and the reptilian life in Florida is more predominant in the water than other places. But you do have the beaches. They have some hammocks, some beach chairs that you could just sit out on, take a walk on, play in the sand. It is picturesque. It's very nice.
It is very nice.
And again, for an older, moderate resort, it is still very nice.
We have stayed at Caribbean. We've stayed at Port Orleans, Riverside. I know
I've stayed on the French side.
Stayed on the French Quarter side. I have not.
And we've stayed at Coronado.
And we've stayed at Coronado,
which is all the moderates.
Mm-hmm. So we've stayed at all 3. I don't know. I think with the update of the Caribbean Beach, I think if you had to do my moderate, I would have to kind of say that Caribbean Beach is my favorite now.
Dixie's nice. The one thing with the French Quarter,
it's small,
is that the rooms seem to be smaller, the smallest of all of them. Whatever reason, on the other side, the rooms seem to be a decent size. On the Riverside, Coronado generally will have larger rooms because it is a convention center. So for the business end, they want to do slightly larger rooms. These ones were on the larger size too. I don't have the numbers in front of me to be able to tell you exactly which one has the biggest ones, but this is a decent size room. We had 5 people in it, and it was cozy, but it wasn't. We didn't feel like we were on top of each other. There was plenty of space for everyone to go to. There's a nice table set up on it with 2 chairs. You have the large screen TV, smart TV that hanging on the wall that you can, if you have a smart device, you can put stuff on there. They don't offer Disney Plus, but you could get on your phone, tablet, whatever, and project it to the screen. You can figure out how to do that. You can do that. Something else of note: Wi-Fi in the resort isn't that great.
No.
But it's there. It's there.
There are hot spots. There were some parts that I could get Wi-Fi pretty well, and our room was very, very spotty.
Even with the cellular service, it was okay at times. It wasn't always fantastic. So that's something just to keep in mind, especially if you're trying
to get Rise of Resistance
or Ratatouille.
Yeah, that'll be coming up. So. But as far as, I think, we can touch base more about Caribbean Beach in the future, but I think as of right now, as my moderate, I think really what wins out for me is the Skyliner. I really liked that mode of transportation even though we got stuck on it the one night, I really liked that mode of transportation to the park. the exit off of from Epcot and the studios was very close to the entrance, so you're not walking like miles and miles to get into the park. And I just like the convenience of it. I mean, we were really back at our room very quickly, and you're not standing there waiting 15-20 minutes for a bus to come, and then another 15-20 minute bus ride back to your hotel, and
or having people shoved into a bus where
yeah.
a lot of people in the bus, which I think for me was the biggest win of the Skyliner. Is I like the bus system, but if you're leaving a park at the end of the day, there's a lot of people they're trying to shove in those buses. Even now, with the social distancing reduced, they're trying to get as many people as they can in those buses, and it is cramped. If you get a seat, great. Sometimes you don't get a seat, and you're standing as the bus makes its way down the roads from across property.
And if you've been walking all day, trust me, the last thing you want to be doing is standing and trying to keep your body still with those turns and stuff.
And you get the deodorant test.
Yeah.
Where with this on the Skyliner, its maximum capacity, I think, is 10 people.
Yeah.
And that's it. Everyone has to be sitting. And it's just a quick, smooth ride, and you're back there. We lucked out. I don't know if it's the timing, it was the location. For whatever reason, besides when we had to leave Epcot, we never really had to wait much, or at all, for the Skyliner. And even
that night, I mean, I know we got stuck on it, but because I know we bolted from the time the fireworks ended. We did try to make a mad dash to the Skyliner so that we didn't have to wait as long, and we were pretty deep in. Even, I mean, not as deep as the line got behind us,
right?
But we did book it pretty quickly but even the people that we did move pretty quickly. We were only maybe online. Maybe 10 minutes.
I would say probably closer to 50. Probably from the point
10,
that we
15,
left
maybe.
Paris, we left France. Maybe 15 minutes from the point leaving the center of France from watching Epcot Forever. Made our way across the bridge, down the walkway through the International Gateway, getting online and snaking the queue. They did extend the queue behind us.
Yeah.
To allow more people in.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was that line was deep because I happened to look back when we were getting on it.
I know at times it extends back down into France.
Yeah, it was pretty extensive line at that time. So I mentioned before that it took some people 3 hours to get out. So I definitely, when I saw how deep that line was, I can agree with that.
Best practice tip: when you watch the show, make sure you are close to the exit point or the International Gateway. Still get yourself a good viewing point, but also keep in mind that when the show is done, either you're going to spend hours shopping, or you just bolt for the line. You're not going to be able to kind of meander back to get out of the park with the Skyliner. Yep. You're going to have to.
Yeah, and then for us, I mean, we had the one night. I guess we'll get into this, but. We had the one night that we were at the studios, and we were there late, and needless to hold, we didn't know that the shops would all close a half hour from the time of park clothing. So, here we were, we got to ride Rise of Resistance a second time, but we did it really late, the park was closed, and we were jumping on the ride, and so by the time we had gotten through the queue line and got back through Rise of Resistance and started to make our exit out of the park, it was 9:45ish, I guess. I guess it was around 9:45 because it was just and all the shops were already closed, to our disappointment. I would have figured old days that they would have stayed open for at least an hour after park closing, and that didn't happen. They were closed all at 9:30. So unfortunately, that was a little upsetting to our son, who had wanted something that I kept promising him.
There was a few of us that got pretty upset. I want to go back into the Star Wars Marvel shop because I only got to see the Star Wars and the Indiana Jones section and reminisce of why that wasn't there in the 80s when Indiana Jones was coming out and I was a kid. I would have loved some of those Indiana Jones PVCs or an Indiana Jones action figure.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it just seemed I don't know, it just seemed like this trip, everything went super fast.
Even though we were there for quite some time.
I just felt from the time we entered the park to the time, time just flew every single day.
Well, that was our second day at the studios, and we got there later.
Yeah.
We got there on a Monday night, checked into a resort room. That was a little bit of a complication, thanks to the online check-in that they insist that you use for a variety of reasons. Darn dog. Yeah, so the online check-in worked great for most people. For whatever reason, for us, they didn't want to give us our room assignment until we almost got to the resort itself. Kim was fighting with the representative, the cast member, through the messaging system in the My Disney Experience app to release our room number so we knew where we were going. So that took some time. That was a little frustrating. Also, something else that we found out, key point of information, because they don't tell you this through the online check-in. If you do an in-person check-in, they're supposed to be telling you. We're going to tell you because we found this out, and it made a big difference in our experience at the parks, is that they have a new hold system when you charge items to your room or through your Magic Band, which goes to your room, and they will charge your card on file. That they hold
a dollar to dollar.
Well, they will hold $100 off the bat. Right off the bat, they put $100 hold against your account, be it a credit card or your bank through your debit card, whatever it is, whatever you decide to put on file, they automatically put $100 on hold. So that way you have a $100 spending limit, more or less. That's how they explain it. When you meet and exceed that $100, they put another $100. So if you charge $200, they're going to they have the $100 on hold. They're going to put another $200 on hold because they always stay $100 ahead. So you spend $200, they have a $300 hold against your card. They also hold a dollar for dollar amount now as well. So you've charged the $100. You purchase something for $100. They hold an additional $100. So they are really holding $200 because there's the $100 initial hold and then there's the $100 of purchase amount. When you purchase something, that hold does not come off. And this is what the representatives from Disney told us. Those holds will drop from your account 3 to 10 days after your checkout. For us, luckily, some of the stuff
we still have some falling off of our account now.
So for us, luckily, some of them dropped off while we were there. Some of those smaller ones. But in general, be prepared when you're purchasing. It's actually better for you to use your card directly than your Magic Band because of the way the hold system works now, because it will lock up your financial
so
stuff,
like
especially if you're planning dollar for dollar of your trip.
I mean, if you're gonna buy something for $20, probably not a big deal. But we had one night we had put our Tusker House breakfast on our Magic Band at one point, just to kind of like, just to kind of like make things go a little faster and move on, and it was a $200 breakfast, and so therefore $400 was being held on my account, and that kind of really messed us up a little bit because I had already had, all in all, we had charged about $800 in total on our Magic Bands from lunch options, some purchases and stuff like that. So that $800 turned into $1,600. So $800 worth of purchases, $800 worth of holds on my credit card. And we don't have a very high credit limit. So unfortunately, when I went to go use my credit card for something incidental that was like, I don't know, $20, $30, it got declined because it was now well over my credit limit. Yeah. And needless to say, I went back to Disney and, like, you're interrupting my vacation because you're holding $800 of my money that, you
don't need to hold because
that you don't need to hold money because you already claimed it. So just know, I mean, they were very gracious. Everybody at the Caribbean Beach, all the managers there, they really, they worked with us. They helped get us, some of the holds off for us just so that we could, get through the rest of our trip.
To the best of their ability.
Because
the resort itself has no very, very limited control, especially if they take drop the card from your Magic Band from your account. However, it either maxes out or it's told that it's kind of, they can't be used. So at that point, the resort loses any control. They have some control before that. They lose any control if the card comes off your account. Back office has to handle that, and they don't budge for anything.
No, the
resort was as graceful and overly helpful. I would say that they went definitely went above and beyond.
Yeah.
In helping us try to sort this situation through.
And we had I kind of had knew about this prior. I didn't know the extent of it. So we had actually planned we bought a lot of Disney gift cards to offset this. Now, my plan was, like I said, we did use our magic bands a couple times, but my plan was to go down to the front desk and give them my gift card and pay off our balance with our gift card. Well, the one night we didn't get back until much later than I anticipated, and we couldn't get back down to hand in the gift card, and of course then they charged my credit card, and then this is what happened. So unfortunately then it was like, and unfortunately it's not like you can return it and they could give you the money back. Once it's charged, it's charged. It's not like, like a sweater where you could say, okay, I'm going to return it, and they give you the credit back. When it's something like this, it's not something that they can return.
But even if you do pay, there's still a hold against your card too.
Correct. Even if you, because I guess after like day 2 or day 3, I had gone down to the, and paid, because I think they charge your account every other day.
Yes.
So I had gone down, I think on our day 2 or day 3 or whatever day it was, because I knew I had charged, I think about $100 or so, $120 I had put on the card for a couple things that we bought at like quick service meals and stuff like that. So I went down with the gift card to pay it off so that it wasn't sitting there, and that was part of the $800 that I charged, and that $120 that I paid off in a gift card was still sitting hold on my credit card. So just know that this is happening. So our advice to you is, like I said, if you're gonna, obviously if you're gonna go get a cheeseburger spring roll and spend the $8 or $12, whatever it is, to get it, and it's not gonna hurt your bank, then don't worry about it. But if you're going to purchase something of significant amount, like your dinner reservation or a heavy big purchase, use your credit card or cash or gift card, whatever it is, so that
if
you don't have.
If you're eating at Victor and
Albert's, use cash, use your credit card. Don't charge it to your magic band.
Don't use your magic band if you can help it.
Yeah, so just for a word of a wise, just so that, obviously we can share with you our experience. Like I said, everybody at the Caribbean Beach was wonderful. They did try to help us out to give us the best experience that we could, because obviously we had some funds. We had a gift card, but it was, we still had money left on our gift card, of course, but we ended up having to cancel a couple reservations that we had planned because of the significant holds on our account. So it did spoil the trip a little bit, but I mean, not to the point that it ruined it, but it did make it a little like, okay, now what?
But in the end, everything worked itself out.
It worked itself out. We still had a great time.
It didn't,
and it was a learning experience. Yeah. So now we can tell you guys about it so that you guys know what to do in the future.
Because like I said, if you do the preferred method of check-in, which is through the mobile app, you're not really informed about it. And you may or may not get informed about it if you do an in-person check-in. So just to let you know. This is the policy going forward, but they're not being completely upfront about it. Yeah. Sometimes. So.
But otherwise, I guess what our first day was at the Magic Kingdom.
First day, Magic Kingdom. Got there relatively early.
Yeah, we got there relatively early. And we got wonderfully greeted by all the Disney princesses. They all came up on the train station. Up top there.
Yeah, inside of the train station facing down Main Street. You got a slew of princesses and some fairies that are greeting people, waving. It's the new social distancing, the spontaneous character moments where you'll find characters doing stuff throughout the parks.
I actually enjoyed it.
I think it's actually better than the meet and greets.
I do. I mean, all right, yes, you're not hugging the character. You're not getting their autograph.
You're not getting that one-on-one photo like
app.
You were.
But, I don't know. Like,
I thought we saw more characters
than we ever did. And And like I know we're talking about the Magic Kingdom, but that one day when we were in the Epcot, and I was walking out of the bathroom and just see Pooh Bear over by where the Imagination Pavilion is, and Pooh's out there watering the lawn with a watering can. I mean, a real life watering can, actually pouring water out of it. I was like, you know what? That's brilliant, because it was just like you got to see him, like, and he had a watering can and a butterfly net. So he was pretending he was catching butterflies or bees or whatever the heck he was catching, and he was watering the flowers, and it was like, you know what, like, to get an interactive shot like that was, I think sometimes in a way you get to see the characters the way they are, and I think that was actually the kids thought it was great. So I actually kind of like that. I did like the spontaneous cavalcades. I know that they're looking to get rid of some of that.
Well, they got rid of the princess one in Epcot that we saw.
Yeah.
We saw one of the last ones.
Yeah.
If you follow us on the Facebook group, and I was going when you see some of the live videos I was doing from there, you got to see Winnie the Pooh. A couple hours later, Joy was there.
Yeah.
So we got to, I got to see Joy. I haven't seen Joy before because the only place to see her was in Innovations, where you get online and you wait for a while. But now we get to see these characters that I haven't gotten to really see before. Again, you can't get the autographs. You can't get the direct one-to-one interactive picture like you were able to before. But you get to experience so many more characters, and they are doing. And in credit to Disney, these characters are doing the best that they can to interact with the guests that are on either side, on end of a railing, down
like
below.
Chip and Dale, like they were up over
in
Frontierland, and they were up on top of where Country Bear Jamboree is, like just that
just
little walkway,
just
right
before.
Yeah,
it was the crossover.
And we were up there, and everybody was talking to them, and I don't know. I think Callan and I were like, we were going back and forth saying, "Oh, I love Dale," and then Chip got all upset and walked away, like he was all hurt. It was cute. It was kind of, they were interacting with guests, even though that they were above and high. They were still listening to what we were saying and still interacting with us and having, fun moments and stuff like that. So I know we got to see. What's the guy from Country Bear? He was up there too.
Well, we saw 3 or 4 of the Country Bears themselves.
Big Al was up there.
Big Al, Liver Lips McGraw, Teddy, a few other ones, I think. And then we got there. And
then we got to see a couple of cavalcades. We got to see Tinkerbell a couple times. We did get to see the princesses. We got to see the Mickey and Minnie and Donald, Daisy, and Pluto.
So we saw just spontaneous, and you have to, and sometimes you have to keep an eye out for them, because you could just walk by and not see them, especially if they're higher up or in a little bit of a corner.
Well, the good thing about the Magic Kingdom, though, is that music started.
Well,
you knew something was coming.
For the cavalcades that were parading down the street, yes, you listen for the music, you know something's coming.
You know something's coming.
Chip and Dale and the Country Bears were just hanging out on the rooftop. You don't get a musical cue for that.
So if you weren't watching,
you just have to be
observant.
observant. And this reminds me of years ago going to the parks when I was a little boy in the 80s, and the characters would just pop up out of places, and everyone kind of come around, get pictures, and you just interact with the characters willy-nilly on the street. They weren't at a assigned time at this location. There'll be this character for this long. And
yeah, like Stitch, we saw Stitch and Buzz over on the Tomorrowland stage
at Stitch's old theater.
Yeah, so like I said, you did get to see more characters more often. As far as our first day at Magic Kingdom, it wasn't really all that crowded. We were able to take advantage of we purchased a picture package. We purchased the memory maker, but we also purchased an extra picture package. It was $50, and you get a half-hour session with a cast member. And I think you can do this at all 4 parks.
We've done this before at the Grand Floridian.
We did it at the Grand Floridian many, many, many years ago, but you could do it at the Grand Flo, but you could also do it at all 4 parks. Yeah. We chose to do it at the Magic Kingdom. And so we had the cast member for about a half hour, and he just took shots of us in different locations around the castle, with the partner statue, over at the terrace almost by the Tomorrowland walkway. Just in a couple different random spots.
Spots are,
yeah.
He asked if there was anything specific we wanted. And then, I particularly said I wanted the partner statue. Of course, we wanted something up close with the castle. And he said anything that he suggested. And he suggested some really great spots we would have never thought of. And
and it was really great. I mean, unfortunately, at the time that we took the pictures, it was like around 11:15, 11:30 in the morning. Park wasn't very crowded. The area around the castle wasn't too crowded either, but the sun was out and it was blaringly hot. So unfortunately, you were dying sweating while you were taking the pictures. But and actually, and it was kind of cool because actually while we were taking the pictures, a cavalcade went by. So the photographer had taken some really great shots from like behind us of us waving at the characters with the characters in the pictures. So not only did we get like, obviously standard, picture shots of, us and our family and stuff, but we actually got some candid shots of us waving to the characters and then waving back. So it was kind of a cool thing.
Photographer Ryan was brilliant in seizing moments of spontaneity and just setting things up and taking pictures either that we didn't think about or in ways that we wouldn't have thought of setting up a picture, and they all came out great.
Yeah, and I mean, and like I said, he spent the full half hour with us. Whatever pictures we wanted, he took. And like I said, I paid $50 for it. So, if you're going down there with your family and you want something memorable, I would definitely recommend it. Obviously I wanted to do it because, obviously the castle was already set up and decorated for the 50th. So I wanted to take advantage of that. So, I mean, it was really, really a nice thing. But before that, we did go there early enough to go for breakfast, and we went to, Sleepy Hollow.
Yes.
And we got to try the fruit waffles and
giant Mickey. They have giant Mickey waffles there.
Yeah. I don't remember. Did you get the one with the Nutella?
I got the one with you got without Nutella.
I got it without the Nutella. You got it with the Nutella.
I got the fruit waffle with the Nutella, which was delicious.
Yeah, it was really good. Our boys didn't like it. They didn't expect the waffles to be crunchy.
They got the giant Mickey waffles. They didn't care for them as much because they were extra crunchy. And they're used to, pancakes and French toast that isn't super crunchy. Or some pancakes that aren't. These were more on the crunchier side. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. The fruit was fresh and delicious.
Yeah, for the fruit waffle is not a Mickey waffle. It is a traditional, not so much, it's a thinner waffle. It's not a Belgian waffle. But it's a larger waffle folded in half. And they coat it with the
powdered sugar and whipped cream.
They coat it with the Nutella, not the Nutella. I apologize because that would be using name brands. It is the hazelnut spread with fruit on top and a whipped, creamy whipped topping.
Yeah, it was good.
That they put on top. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was
a little messy to eat. Bring baby wipes.
Yes.
But it was.
Let's
it
just
wasn't
say
heavy.
Let's say the boys that didn't eat their waffles.
Their waffles did not go to waste.
They did not go wasted.
No food went to waste.
No food went to waste. So it was really good. I mean, it was the first time that we actually ever ate there.
Yeah.
So and obviously this was something that was suggested to us by DFB. So we were like, okay, let's try it. And we had gotten there early enough that we tried it. So I enjoyed it, and I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, I would go there again.
I would definitely.
I don't know about our kids, but we were, the two boys. I don't know. Our teenager.
Well, maybe when they grow up, maybe they'll finally like it. But I definitely enjoyed it. We would like it. I would definitely do that again. And it wasn't that expensive. I think for the 5 of us, I think I only paid like $30-something for all 5 of us and maybe it was like 40, and because I think that was with drinks. But
we did get some.
Drinks. But I really wasn't.
Special,
it wasn't like the $60-$70 that you would think a enormous quick service would be. So it was good. So we started off the morning there, and then from there we obviously went and we
went straight to Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, we did. We went right on Haunted Mansion.
Walked on Haunted Mansion practically. It said 20-minute wait. The line just kept moving, and we just got right on it.
We got it right on it. And then from there we went and did. I think we.
Another special moment that I want to point out here is that my daughter and I, we know of the legend of the wedding ring being, that it's kind of one of those hidden little trinkets part of the story it's embedded in the ground. We wanted to see it because we haven't seen it before. Well, in the queue line, you really, how it was set up that day, you didn't go by it. You didn't see it. So when we walked out, I asked one of the cast members, well, where is it exactly? He said, well, it's further back here. they allowed us to actually walk ahead. They pointed out where the ring was, and then we walked out. We didn't get sneak onto the ride or anything, but they granted us. They were nice enough to grant us that access to be able to point out the little trinkets and the little hidden gems of the attraction by request. And it's not something that you go to some of these other places. They tell you, well, no, you just have to get back online and catch it another day. Maybe at Disney, if you get a cast member on bad, they will do that. They'll say that. But again, this is Disney. That's part of the magic. And the cast members are definitely part of the magic. They allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
So that, again, shout out to the cast members over at the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, that was good. And our son is absolutely actually his magic band was Haunted Mansion, so that was a really big deal that we rode that ride first, because that was the one that he had waited so long to get onto.
Only ride he wanted to do at Disney the whole time. Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion. So that was the first ride we hit. And then we did the pictures, and then we just started to hit the rides, and you know what? Like, we really didn't wait too long.
Small World we got on.
Yeah. Well, no, we didn't do Small World that day. We did it the second day.
That was the next day. We did Teacups.
We did Teacups. Yep, we did Teacups, and we went and did PhilharMagic. You know what? I think that was the first time I think I've ever rode the Teacups there.
I haven't ridden them in maybe 30 years.
Yeah. We did PhilharMagic. What else did we do? We did The Little Mermaid that day. And then we went to Gaston's. and we tried the gray stuff.
Yeah, the gray stuff and Le Fuse Brew.
Le Fuse Brew. It was interesting.
I wouldn't know how to describe it except for the way that's on the board, that it's a marshmallow apple coconut
frozen
concoction.
Yeah. It gave brain freeze, so please beware of that.
You can't slurp too quickly.
Yeah.
Use the straw. It helps prevent the brain freeze. If you try drinking without it, you take one sip and it's gonna
hit you.
It's gonna haunt you.
Yeah. It's a strange taste. I will have to say, I did try it twice. Because when we went back to the Magic Kingdom, I did have it again because I was really hot and I needed something to cool me down.
It's refreshing.
It is refreshing. It does refresh, but it is a very interesting taste. So I could definitely see.
And it is on the sweeter side.
Yes, it is on the sweeter side. So it would be like a take it or leave it. We have a long story history of the gray stuff as our trip 4 years ago 4 years ago with our daughter. We went to be our guest for lunch, and we got the gray stuff as our dessert option. And if you
don't know, the gray stuff is basically, it's a chocolate cupcake with a gray top icing, which is you can find the ingredients. It's a mousse. It's a mousse. Coconut cream, not coconut cream.
No, not
coconut. Cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream mousse.
Mousse type of.
So it's a thicker. It's not an
icing.
No, it's not icing because it's not as sweet as icing.
No.
It's definitely more of a mousse. But it's so we get
I think they use pudding.
Maybe, I don't know, but whatever it is, it's good. So we go to be our guest for lunch, and we get through our lunch and then we go to their dessert. Lo and behold, our daughter has eaten the whole cupcake. So she's eaten the whole cupcake, and therefore none of us got to try the gray stuff. And obviously at that time, Be Our Guest was counter service, so it's not, and the way that you would order counter service, it's not like you could just walk back up and order another one.
Because it's not a traditional counter service.
It's not a traditional counter service. So we could not order another one, so we never got to try it. So for the last 4 years, we have tortured her with this gray stuff cupcake thing that, we wouldn't know because we didn't get a chance to try it.
Try the gray stuff. It's delicious. Don't believe us? Ask our daughter.
Ask our daughter, because we never got to try it. So, because she lo and behold thought it was all hers and didn't realize that it was going to have to be split 5 ways. But anyway, finally we get to Gaston's. We get to try it.
Worth the wait.
It was definitely worth the wait. I loved it. I did think that the cupcake part of it, the chocolate, was a little rich. I don't like chocolate cupcakes, but this was okay. It was a little richer than I like, but I mean, it was soft. It was moist.
It was moist.
The icing was just unbelievable.
It's a chocolate cupcake. It is a moister chocolate cupcake. I didn't, it didn't blow me away. It didn't turn me off. I'm not a chocolate person either. Chocolate cupcakes are not my first go-to, like some people.
But it was good.
It was
good. It was good. I wish, now Heinz thinking it, I wish we probably could have gotten one cinnamon roll just to try it, because I hear some people say that they're like bricks, and then I hear some people that they're like really good.
Yeah, it probably depends on when you get them.
Yeah, I'd probably if they come right out of the oven, they're probably really good. So that'll have to be something we try the next time. But we didn't get a chance to try that. But I will say, if you really, really want to try a good cupcake, definitely try the gray stuff. You don't have to go to Be Our Guest and spend the oodles amount of money that it is to go there to get this cupcake. So go over to Caston's. Even if you want to just go and it's a hot day, you can go in, sit down, and enjoy. It's a nice, quiet little place, and
cool off.
There's a bathroom right next to it that you can get to kind of cool off and get some break away from the sun. So definitely try it. Like I said, love to hear your comments about the LeFou's brew, whatever you call it. Because it was definitely something interesting. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but it was definitely interesting. But it definitely cooled us down, so that was it was good. But I try it again.
Oh, absolutely, I'd go there.
I'll try it again.
It's a nice break in the day.
Yeah.
The rest of the day, we just kind of went on attractions. Again, wasn't that busy as far as crowds. Not that it was empty, but it was manageable. And
it was cool. We got to see some of the characters hanging out on top of the Liberty Square, Frontierland.
The Country Bears hanging out above the Country Bear Jamboree. We saw Chip and Dale in their Western outfits on the one pass through to Adventureland. I think it is there. So you had again, I liked the characters being outside and just randomly throughout the area.
Not standing in line to just get an autograph and take a picture.
Spots.
Yeah. I thought they were more interactive. Like, I know we were yelling at Chip and Dale, saying, like, Dale, you're the best. And then Chip got upset and he kind of ran away. And it kind of made it more fun and a little bit more interactive than, just standing online and they do, like, just the smile wave and that's it,
The only place...
Okay, next.
The only place I'd say that didn't happen, though the characters were set up that way where you just randomly... You saw them in specific spots, but from a distance... was at Galaxy's Edge, where they were much more kind of static and in character and not interactive. They just stood there. They did wave, but they weren't...
I didn't really go over in that section, so you would know more about that.
Yeah, they didn't.
I saw them just standing there, but I just didn't.
Yeah, they weren't interacting as much as the other characters were. I don't know, is because of the type of characters, the location, what it was. It was much more staged.
Yeah, I will say that.
It was much more staged and just kind of, they were there. More of a photo op than it was an experience. Where the other ones were more of an experience where, like I said, like you were just saying, Chip and Dale were interacting with you, as Chip and Dale do, but this was just, free and about. The Country Bears kind of interacted with you. Who else? Winnie the Pooh, Joy, as we saw them in Epcot, interacted with you. I forget who else we saw, but in general, they were more interactive than, but that's an aside. From there, we also had dinner that night at Liberty Tree Tavern. No longer the character meal from years ago, but still very, very good. We will touch on that in a food review episode because it deserves... Liberty Tree Tavern pretty much deserves its own episode. The
only thing we did not eat in the Liberty Tree Tavern, we ate at the
Diamond Horseshoe. At this time that they are conjoined. They share the same back of house. It's the same kitchen between the two restaurants. And just for social distancing reason, typically Liberty Tree Tavern, you are pretty much stacked on top of each other and throughout the different rooms.
And there was 6 of us, so at that that night.
That night there was 6.
So there were 6 of us. So I guess for the bigger table, they put us there to accommodate.
It seems like some of the larger groups are over in the Diamond Horseshoe. They'd walk you over into Diamond. Service wasn't any less. Just in some ways, it was a nicer atmosphere because you had the player piano.
And it was actually, and they actually said it was actually it got quite cold in there by the time we had gotten dessert. That we went from sweating our butts off to like freezing our butts off.
You were freezing. I was quite comfortable. It is they have very effective air conditioning in the Diamond Horseshoe Review. Just as an aside, if you need to cool off, duck in there and you'll cool off fairly quickly. Nice atmosphere. It's been years since I've been inside the Diamond Horseshoe Review. It's not something I usually get to anymore. But
we'll give you the teaser. Pretty much, we liked the food so much that we end up going back a couple days later for another evening at Liberty Tree. It was so good.
To make sure the quality was effective. And that they could keep up that kind of quality, we had to try 2 different nights during that that trip. And again, spoiler alert, it was very good.
But and then we ended our day there, and
that was the end of day 1. Headed back to the resort, just kind of relax a little bit. Did we do anything at the resort that night? I don't think so.
No, I mean it was late already, and I think we knew we had Epcot coming, so I think we just kind of went back to the room and we kind of crashed.
Yeah, next day was Epcot. Took the Skyliner over. Nice ride. Nice and airy, nice and just fun. You come in through the International Gateway, which is the back end of the park, as I mentioned earlier. And we kind of rope dropped Epcot, which is I think one of the first times we've done that. Or I might have even done that.
And especially rope dropping it from the International Gateway. Usually, if we're there early, we would go in, the front of the park and walk in where Spaceship Earth is. But to actually walk in the International Gateway was a first, I think, for me. I've
never gone into the International Gateway.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I don't even think we've ever even left. Well, no, maybe once we had head over to Boardwalk or something like that, but
I don't know. We've walked by the International Gateway. I've never gone through the International Gateway, and so that was a first. And it's nice since you are, it's more limited resorts. Granted, there's 7 resorts that can go through there, but you don't get the huge crowd because everyone else is coming through the main entrance. You don't get the huge crowd coming into Epcot. If there was a huge crowd coming to Epcot that day, we would never know. We got in fairly quickly.
Yeah, we did. We got in very quickly.
And
then we just jumped right into a shop. We got some 50th anniversary pins.
Food and wine pins, not the 50. We got food and wine, some food and wine merch. It's food and wine pins.
No, I grabbed the 50th there too.
Oh, that's where you got the 50th.
Yeah, that's where I grabbed the 50th.
The pre-50th pin.
And then we grabbed some food and wine pins, and then we also got the kids so while food and wine is going on, they are having a kid challenge of Find Remy. So they give you this. It was $10, and it's a plastic card. And then on the back of it is a whole bunch of stickers of different pictures with Remy on it, and you had to go to all the different spots, areas of the countries, or even just some of the food and wine kiosks, and you'd find little statues of Remy up on top of the buildings, and usually some of them were a little closer than others, but some of the statues kind of look like the stickers somewhat. And then you matched it up.
The cast members weren't even sure which sticker was supposed to go to the.
Well, there was like statue. That one that was just so close. Like, was one that looked like.
Well,
now knowing.
Or garlic.
No, see, now I think it was a ball of mozzarella, and then the other ones were the onions.
It could have been. It's so up to interpretation, and food and wine is something that we will get more into on probably next episode.
But yeah,
it would take a whole episode to talk food and wine, which spoiler alert, was delicious.
Yeah, it was. But in hindsight, we walked around, we did the Remy, we were able to jump on
Soaring twice
while we were there, which was fantastic. And we had seen the new one since it has changed in our last trip 2 years ago.
Soaring around the world.
But it was really cool. We actually were able to take all of our kids on it this time. So to see the little one actually get so excited that he wanted to do it again was exciting, that he actually loved it that much. So we got to do Soarin' twice, like I said, and it's not even like were able to use our disability pass. We actually just walked right on it twice. And then we did have lunch over in Living with the Land, which was somewhat, I thought it was okay. I mean, I think I just got the regular pizza. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was, cardboard pizza, but it wasn't too bad.
I got the stir fry, and that was actually pretty good. I think it was a chicken stir fry. I'd have to check my notes.
Yeah, I think it was a stir fry that you got, but
it
was all right. It was good. It was good.
It was good.
It was just something to just kind of get something in our stomachs so that we could get on. And I mean, I think we walked out of there and.
Big note to keep in mind now. In pretty much all of Disney World, this started in Animal Kingdom in '98, but this is now spread across the parks and expanded. There are no lids or straws available.
Well, they have straws. They're just
the paper straws. No lids to go on top of your cups.
But strangely enough, there was lids at our hotel.
Yes, but not
actually at the parks.
And we didn't resort hop too much, so I couldn't speak for other resorts. That's true.
But there was lids at our hotel, and maybe it's because you're carrying it outside and walking back to your room to make it, I guess, a little bit more convenient. There was no lids while you're in the park, but at the Caribbean Beach, at their quick service counters, there was lids.
And those wonderful dissolvable straws.
At first, I thought it was just for like the kids' cups, but then I realized it fit all cups. But Epcot was really, really good. I mean, I loved Food and Wine. I really did. I loved it. I'm still a little mad at myself, but we missed the cheese crawl by one.
We'll get into that.
But otherwise, everything we did was good. I love Test Track. I had forgotten. I knew obviously the ride of Test Track, but I had forgotten about that whole make your own car in the beginning.
The interactive queue part.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you're actually sitting there making your car and designing your car, I'd forgotten all about that because we hadn't done Test Track in actually quite a few years because the kids weren't, the boys weren't big enough to ride it, so we hadn't been able to go on it.
Last time we did, they still had that. They had the interactive part. So that's
yeah, but it had been quite a while, and I didn't remember it. So I thought that was fun. We had a fun time with that. That was a lot of yelling and screaming of this, that, whatever. So that was cool. That was cool. That was a cool ride. I think the boys enjoyed that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they loved that. Got to see the giant monstrosity that will be Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So that's still there, still taking shape, still in the process.
Yeah.
As far as
the walls were still up.
Yeah, the play pavilion, couldn't tell you what's going on in there. In the old Wonders of Life building. Space 220 should be opening any day now whenever this episode drops.
September 20th, yeah. It's slated to open. I'm still waiting to see, I'm dying to see a menu for that. They still have not released a menu.
Well, it's the Rainforest people. So it's going to be...
I still think it's going to be a little different.
It will be different because they do keep it to kind of along the lines of whatever they kind of... fits their theming.
No, we'll see. We'll see.
So
hopefully in the next couple
different,
days.
But I think it'll be good. I think you'll definitely get some dried ice cream, dehydrated ice cream.
Probably.
Otherwise,
I mean, Epcot was great. It really wasn't crowded at all. I happened to see while we were there that obviously the biggest line was for Frozen.
Yeah,
And we
that was
actually
definitely the longest
actually caught it at a good time, because I know when we walked into it, it wasn't too bad. But then by the time we got out, the line was down to China. So,
Yeah.
so it was. We caught it at a really, really good time, and then we got to see Elsa and
We got to see Elsa and
Anna.
Anna, and again, they were very interactive. They were great with the girls. With the girls in our party, between a teenager and a 10-year-old, and also a just the girls in general, the kids in general that would go up to them, and Elsa was nice and a little more reserved, which again fits
Her character.
Elsa the character. Anna was bubbly and carrying on and talking to whoever, and just again really great magical moments that having the characters do this versus waiting for them in a room and you get just a quick photo and kind of a move along type of
Because they're
situation
trying to push you along, yeah.
because of the huge line that's behind you. I think this worked out nicer, and you stand on one side of the fence and Anna and Elsa on the other side of the fences, and they still pose, and you still get a nice picture with them. You're not getting the autograph, but I think it led for a nicer experience, in my mind, than what the character meet and greets have become. So I think this is a good thing, and
Yeah.
I would love to see this continue forward. Now, since we've been there, they used to have the Princess Cavalcade. They would all come around on was it a horse-drawn carriage?
It was a horse-drawn
It was
carriage.
a horse-drawn carriage around the international loop, and
They have now
that was
stopped
cool.
that.
They stopped that actually while we were there.
Yeah.
It was
We
like
did
2
get to
days
see
after
it, though.
but we got to see it. And again, that was nice. I've seen all the princesses just drive by and waving to everybody.
It was great.
It was great. You saw a whole bunch
Kids,
of princesses at once.
even the boys loved it, So I mean, it was great. It was great. But then I think after Norway, we just kind of free walked all the way over. I know we stopped at America, and then we stopped.
Stopped at China. We stopped at the American Pavilion. Sat down there for a little bit.
And then we stopped. What was after that we stopped? Maybe Germany or something like
Germany's
that.
before, but yeah,
It was one of the little kiosks we stopped after that. Then we made our way over to France. Wow. Well, if you have to go to France, my opinion is probably you have to now. If you're coming off the International Gateway, go right. Don't go left first and go to Canada. Go left first. Or no, go right first, because that line was unbelievable. And I'm sure now with Remy and the new creperie, the bakery and everything, the lines were just outrageously long.
you get a salad at the creperie. That sounds kind of like a weird backwards thing.
Oh, well, yeah, I did see the menu, but it looks good. Actually, I really would like to try the ratatouille crepe.
I've heard that it's quite interesting. I've gotten some reviews from Len Testa. He gave a little review on that.
Yeah, I know that you think you have a choice. I think if you buy the trio, it's $33, and you can get a soup or a salad, and then I think they give you like your lunch crepe, and I think there's like seven or eight choices, and then you get your dessert crepe.
Yeah, his guess is that those prices will not last long when they realize how the value of what you get to that price is. Especially that some of the stuff is, I think, if I'm getting the direction right, cheaper inside the restaurant than it is outside in the pavilion. Like some of the drinks. So the pricing right now is this. Take advantage of it if you're there, because chances are it will be going up shortly, because it's kind of too good of a value. But yeah, France leads a lightning pass or fast pass for its kiosks.
Well, yeah, because the
Even
food
Matt
food
from
and
Love of the Mouse was saying that he doesn't know what they're giving away there because it is so crowded.
the food and wine booth kiosk. So
Which is one of the
it's
larger
across,
ones.
and it's across from the pavilion. So it's on the other side. It's more towards the lake, and I
It's
went
closer towards the lake and towards the International Gateway.
right. So when I went in the back, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. But then I go and I walk around to actually get on, and no, it's literally wrapped, and it was like in a circle, round and round. And I'm like, okay, that's at least an hour wait. So I was like, well, forget that. Obviously, we went inside the bakery to try to see if I could, because I know Callan had wanted some macarons, and even that, it was very, very deep. It was at least a good 45-minute to an hour wait. And I couldn't even, there wasn't even very many pastries left in the case. So I was kind of worried that if I did wait for that long, what would I have had to choose from by the time I got up there? Because obviously at, 8:45 at night or 8:30 at night, they're not making anything brand new at that point. So we had decided just to get off the line because I just kind of figured, okay, we're going to be stuck with something that we probably don't want. So, so my advice is if you get there, if you really want to go to France,
Go early.
Go early. Go there first. And obviously, with Ratatouille now going to be opening up, if you're on a queue line and if you're there, or if you do have a, if your virtual comes up early, then definitely get there early. Get your crepes. Go in line. Get your bakery. Get your whatever it is that you want. Get it early because those lines were really, really long. And in the end, unfortunately, I wanted to see Epcot Forever, so I didn't want to stand in the line and miss it. So
I'm glad we finally got to see Epcot Forever.
But you know what? I was not impressed.
Well, and this is version 2.0 versus the original one with the kites. That's been the general theming, but also keep in mind Epcot Forever is a temporary show.
It's a temporary show, and I get that. I mean, I guess I'm just so used to Illuminations and everything that was, and then this was, I don't know, I felt like it was a half. I felt like it was like a half-fast thing just to throw something together, and I mean,
but that's what it is.
I know, but
people complain. Well, this looks like it's something that was just thrown together overnight. Yes, it is something that was just thrown together overnight.
It definitely looked like it. So, I mean, I was very disappointed that I guess I was disappointed because I really wanted to go into the I really wanted to go to the food and wine booth, and I gave it up.
Your disappointment was because you didn't get macarons and crepes, and your cheese donut.
No, I wanted the cheese in the bread bowl, and
the cheese donut bread bowl thing.
I didn't get it because I wanted to watch the fireworks, and then I was very upset that the fireworks were half-assed when I should have just stood online. But anyway, that's okay.
Well,
I'm sure harmonious.
Because my expectations were so low for this show, I actually enjoyed it.
Oh well.
I was happy that there was fireworks.
I don't know. I gave up cheese for half-assed fireworks. Not only that, got to end up seeing them a few times throughout our trip through because the Caribbean beach was so close to Epcot.
Where we stayed at the Caribbean beach is that we had the fireworks almost every night.
Exactly.
The
whether we
lasers.
Whether we heard the booms from our rooms or we actually saw them going off, we heard them almost every night. Unless we were actually at the park, which but I think even if we were the one night that we were in the studios, I think I still heard them.
Yeah, well, it's not that far. But if you're staying in the Caribbean and it's around the time Epcot Forever is going to be happening, go down to around near the main pool area and watch over the lake. Because you get this beautiful reflection. Mm-hmm. So you get the fireworks over the back of the buildings, and then you get the reflection of it in the lake. And it is a very serene and beautiful...
Or jump on the Skyliner.
And, it will float along and possibly get you stuck there, and you could really watch it.
Yeah. Skyliner too.
Well, particularly at night, for whatever reason.
Yes.
But that aside, so we finished up, saw the show, scooped up everybody and booked it back to the Skyliner. We already gave you that story about what happened there.
Yeah.
And then that was that night. Didn't end on the best note with the Skyliner, but
all in all, Disney got us back to our hotel safe and sound. I didn't have to walk back through the park to wait hours for buses to get us home. 3 hours later with whining children. So in the end, I'm grateful for the 40 minutes. Not that I liked hanging there for a good 20 of it, but I'm glad that we at least got back safely.
We did breakfast in the hotel room that day.
Yes.
We
Yes,
only
did.
bought, as far as do a sit-down meal, we did that in the land pavilion in Seasons. And then otherwise we just pretty much ate our way around Epcot, which I think worked out brilliantly.
Yeah, and just a heads up, what I ended up doing was I bought I did buy a gift card with $100 on it prior to us going, and that's what we used for food and wine, and it pretty much covered everything. I didn't have to. I think there was only one towards the end that I had to actually take some extra money out, but it pretty much got us through the whole through the whole
that was
thing.
the Grease Pavilion.
The one that had the griddled cheese.
Grease. That was
Yeah,
Grease.
yeah, that one I ended up having to. I ran out of money once we got to there, but yeah.
Well, all
in all, I got through almost the whole park with buying little things here and there on that $100. So I guess if you know,
that $100 was for the five of us.
was for the five of us. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, but but in hindsight, now I probably know that I probably should up it to like 150, because we didn't get to do really all of everything, because we did pass Canada on our way, and then we stopped at Poutine. But if I would have it was too early in the morning.
Because they don't open when the park opens. They open an hour later.
An hour later. So we got in at 10, and the kiosks didn't open until around 11.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time we'd already walked past Canada. Well, not Canada, but
we walked past a few.
A few of them before
Canada,
they were opened.
England, and Ireland.
Yeah, we did go back to Canada so we could have the poutine, but I did miss the margarita booth.
I walked, I walked past everything. You guys walked the loop once. I clocked it and I walked the loop twice.
I think you did. I think you did. But it was cool. But we'll do a full review on the things that we did get to try, or even if we didn't try it, we did definitely look at it. So we'll go over that in the next episode. I guess the next day was Studios. 7 a.m.
7 a.m. Set our alarms 6:50 something. Jumped on the phones and were able to get our virtual pass for Rise of the Resistance for that morning. You said that it's about the time that they suggested. I think we actually got called a little earlier than the time suggested.
No, it was exactly.
You say it was exactly. All right. Either way, we got called pretty early. We had an early boarding group. Yeah, 10:30. So we got to the studios pretty much as they opened, a little after.
Maybe a few minutes.
Yeah, not by much.
I mean, we didn't miss rope drop by much.
No.
We went in, we got in, we had remember when we got Rise of Resistance, it didn't put all of us in the party, so
yeah, we did have
to get that fixed, which they fixed it for us. So if you do end up having that situation where you're a bigger party, and for some unknown,
or just in general, your party, not everyone gets linked to the
My Magical
virtual
Experience.
queue.
So if not everybody gets in, you could just find a cast member and
at guest services of the park.
And they can add the rest of the people to your party. It's not like they're going to kick them out or anything. So you just say it's a glitchy issue, and they will go ahead and they will take care of that.
Because they know it's technology. It's wonderful when it works, but otherwise we know.
Yeah. So don't worry about that. But then I think we headed over and we went on Muppets first.
Yep. Muppet Vision 3D right out of the bat.
Right out of the bat.
Beautiful. Loved it as always.
We also did it to kind of cool off just for the walk to get there. For some odd known reason, I don't know what, that park was just extremely hot. I don't ever remember it being that hot, but it was hot. I mean, I understand it's August, I get that, but it just was extremely hot.
Shout out to Rick for Muppet Vision as well.
But
still, beautiful film.
Yeah, so we did Muppets 3D. The kids loved it, and then we literally walked off that ride and walked right onto Rise.
The first time I've ever gone to Muppet Vision and not gone into the Muppet store.
I don't think it was opened, to be honest with you, because when we walked by it, I didn't see anything inside it.
I didn't notice. I just know we did not go into it if it was
well. I didn't see it opened, but not to mention I didn't go in it, but we left so quickly because we were heading to, because like it was time, like it was we got that boarding call.
We got our boarding call to go right as soon as Muppets were done, so we hightailed it because also Muppets is right by. Of the two entrances to Galaxy's Edge, there's the one by Muppet Vision, which you take you swing left from the Chinese Theater past ABC Commissary. You have Star Tours, you have Muppet Vision, you have all those right there. And then you have the entrance to Galaxy's Edge, which is through a berm, and there's a story behind that opening. Kind of more of a portal. The other entrance is back up and around Toy Story, which is if you go right from the theater through the animation courtyard, past where Little Mermaid used to be, and then hook through Pixar Place, Toy Story Land, and that will bring you into Galaxy's Edge that way. Your best bet for effect and just for the experience is to go through the one near Muppets, because it completely, it's like walking through the train station at the Magic Kingdom. So you know what's ahead of you. You kind of have an idea. But it's the theatrical entrance. So you kind of, as you come up to the train station, you don't see anything, and then you walk through, you kind of start seeing stuff, and then there you are on Main Street.
And the ground changes, the atmosphere changes.
Everything changes, the music.
And it's 10 degrees hotter. I swear to God, it was 10 degrees hotter than it back there than it was everywhere else.
Again, the problem with people in California designing stuff for Florida.
reflective flooring.
Not enough shade.
Not enough shade. It was hot.
It is brutal, and a lot of people hung out in that tunnelway. And it's actually a decent tunnelway.
It is actually a decent tunnel.
It's a good 30, 40 feet.
Yeah, it was a pretty good. It was a pretty.
And it's well shaded, but it is a nice transition.
They should fans in there. I was just. I
think the air pass through on that was actually pretty bad. Good, because it's still cool enough. Listen to our friend Dan Z over at Coffee with Kenobi. He'll be able to tell you more about the story of everything, but the detail. You got the transition, the pathways, the paving. You have. The walls are laser blasted. You can see the marks of the lasers. You see the tread marks from the machinery. The theming starts in there, and it really brings you into the world that you run into on the other side of there. Rise of Resistance is immediately on your left from there. The Coca-Cola cart is immediately on your right, which will only be found here in Florida. That's not in Disneyland, from my understanding, with the red droid. You have the A-Wing there. You have the X-Wing as well. The X-Wing, which was used in, I believe that one was used in The Mandalorian. You have, so all that is right there as soon as you enter into Batuu, which is Galaxy's Edge. The little shops there. You have a nice photo pass right in, photographer usually set up right in front of the X-Wing, which was great. So we got on Rise of Resistance. We were fortunate enough during this trip to go on it twice.
Yeah.
First time, it was a mix of groups. You had people that were into Star Wars, you had people just into Star Wars, you had people somewhat into Star Wars, and then people that didn't care anything about Star Wars. We all walked off that ride. No matter what your love of Star Wars was, saying how impressed and how amazing that attraction is. And I don't want to spoil it because it is too fantastic. Between the visual effects, the theming.
It's probably like one of the best rides I've ever been on.
This isn't so much of a spoiler because you know this. It's in all the promotional pictures. You know it's out there. At one point when you're on a Star Destroyer hangar with a legion of stormtroopers in front of you, and you see out into space. And I was thinking in my head before getting there, they're going to cheap out. If anywhere, it's going to be the ceiling. You're not going to really get much theming in the ceiling. It's just going to be the walls, the floor, and that'll be it. Even the ceiling is themed to be a hangar. I mean, they really spared no.
And the attraction itself is like, what, almost like a 35-minute attraction? Because the different multiple things that you walk
depending
through?
on where you started, there's multiple wait points. But
I mean, even the queue line was impressive.
If you go from the pre-show, because that's what that first part is
right?
The pre-show that brings you to
and then
the next part, and then it gets you into the. It is a. Even the pre-show is a experience, and I could almost figure out how they do it. I can't fully figure out how they do it.
No.
It's
just impressive.
I don't want to.
No, it's just
Eventually
the whole ride was just wow. Like you literally feel you kind of lose the fact, I think, that you're in a ride. You actually kind of feel that you're really in Star Wars and you're part of the Resistance. Like, it's just, it was that good. I mean, we all walked off that ride, like, I don't know. I had tears in my eyes at some point because it was that good. I walked off the ride screaming and clapping. Like, that was, like, the best thing I've ever ridden.
And I'm trying to take in all the visual effects that are going on around you. But the unfortunate part is it moves fast.
It does. It does move fast. There's a lot of things going on at once. So that's why I was glad we did it twice, because there was things that I saw the second time that I didn't see the first time. Well, and I understand we had some malfunction the first time, but even still,
there's a little bit of malfunction from it. But there's also, we went on a different track the second time. So even though you may have seen it the second time and not realized it the first time,
it was a little different.
It was different, so it may not have been there.
Right.
You have to look out, because there's a lot of cameos and stuff that happen about it. I have to ask Mike Quinn if that's him in the attraction, if he was involved. Nine Numb does make an appearance. That's not a spoiler. It's just there. Brilliant,
it was cool.
Brilliant attraction. Hats off to the Imagineers that came up with that.
I have to say, though, like, if this is where rides are going in the future, and obviously we're seeing that, I mean, we'll get into it in a minute with Mickey and Minnie's Railroad. If these are where the rides are going in the future, all I could say is wow. Like, we're in for a treat. If this
almost justifies the price of tickets nowadays.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I said almost.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I would definitely. I mean, it really. If this is what our future of rides are going to be like, you're going to be definitely. You will not feel bad probably paying those price of tickets, because it's going to make it worth it. And you know what, to try to get, I mean, eventually when we can get off this virtual queue line and we can actually either get on a standby line or something
to wane from the virtual queue now.
I think people will be doing it over and over and over again. I mean, obviously, I guess we'll segue into, I think what we got off of that, we did Smuggler's Run.
We did the Smuggler's Run after.
I don't know if you heard the guy that when we were getting off the ride, the guy's like, oh, I got like 4 extra episodes this time. And I guess I got it from the fact that obviously he was either he was a cast member that does it frequently, or he's a pass holder and does it frequently. That there is probably a certain way to run that ride where you can get multiple extra scenes if you're doing very well. So I thought that was interesting. Just hearing that, because I was like, oh, okay. So if you're doing well, it's going to keep going. It probably does shut off after so long, but it'll give you a couple more scenes. So I didn't realize that. But then when I did go on the second time, I did get, because we were doing so well, we did get 1 extra scene. So
see, we did badly our second time, and we got a different scene, but it was a lot shorter versus the first time around.
So I guess it depends on how bad or good you are. It depends on how it ends. I will say,
there's a secret storyline that you can get into. I haven't researched that to see if it pays any credence, but that
was an interesting ride. I got to be the pilot, and that was no easy feat by any means.
I did the piloting the second time, and that is quite challenging.
Were you on the right or the left?
I was on the right, the same.
Okay,
one
so you were in the same spot I was. Oh, it was not an easy.
I couldn't get the thing to jump to light speed at first. It does it automatically anyway, but I had trouble with the light speed at first. My thing didn't drop down, or I was pulling the wrong ones.
But yeah, it was definitely
because I was doing it the way they do in the movie. They pull all of them down, and that's not how it's just the one handle, the furthest one on the right that you pull down.
No, it was left.
The first time around, I did the engineer, and that was, I think, probably the second easiest job. The first easiest, I think, is the gunner, because you just press the one button the whole time, and at one point you have to press a different button for the harpoon, because our daughter was in the seat ahead of us, and they press the other button, and she's looking. I had to reach over and I pressed it for her, because it is timed. Mm-hmm. And unlike Mission Space, your actions narrate the story. Where Mission Space, press the button or not, everything continues along. This takes it to the next level where you don't press something right, there's consequences. As the engineer, basically anything that lights up next to you, you press it. That's basically, there's 100 buttons next to you. It lights up, you're pressing that. The faster you press it, the better it is for you, and the more repair and the quicker you repair the ship. So that is the key with the engineer part. It is easy. It's fun. It's easy. The downside to the engineer is you're not paying as much attention to the story that's happening in front of you.
Because you're too busy looking at the board.
You're too busy looking at the buttons on the wall. So you get this wonderful attraction. Everyone's having fun, and you're staring at a wall of buttons that may or may not light up at some point. It all depends on how well your pilot is doing or not doing. Depends on how many buttons you're going to get to press.
Yeah, I guess. I was the gunner the second time around, so I didn't get to go back there and see what the engineer was. But, yeah, I could see that, because at least with the gunner, I was still able to look forward, because really I was just hitting that one button and then that one other extra button that does light up.
You don't have to aim, you're just pressing the button.
You're just pressing the button.
And you get, and it's not like there's a limit, there's a cooldown, there's nothing. You just keep rapidly pressing that button as fast as you...
it's like I said, it's definitely, it's an interesting ride. I think it's a rough ride, to be honest with you. I guess it was enjoyable.
I don't know what you mean by rough.
Well, just all the jerking and everything that it did.
There's a little bit of shaking.
It was a little bit of shaking and stuff like that. So especially in the pilot seat, I think.
Body Wars rough?
All right, no, it wasn't Body Wars rough. Right. Body Wars, yeah.
For the listeners that remember Body Wars,
that was rough.
That ride to beat you up.
Yeah.
If people think Star Tours is rough or Mission Space is rough, Body Wars was the mother of all.
No, it wasn't that rough.
Yeah.
Like I said, it would definitely, I don't know. If there's a way to research how to ride that ride, I would definitely recommend doing that before you go. Because it was rough. And
maybe not your first time around. First time around, experience it for what it is. Then maybe another time around.
If you're definitely, all right, so here's the deal. If you're going to go to studios twice, right? So your first time, just go and do it. Then come home, maybe do your research a little bit before you go back and do it a second time. Because that was, I don't know, it was definitely a rough ride. And I don't know. I think I would have enjoyed it more maybe if I kind of knew what I was walking into. And I think that was maybe the issue there. I don't know. I thought it was fun. It was real fun. We didn't die our first time around or my second time around. So, I actually did. I know you went back and did it on your own, and you did crash your plane.
Well, there's a point that in the storyline that the Millennium Falcon does crash. No matter how well you're doing, there's a point that it's going to crash. It's just part of, I think, what's built into the storyline. But otherwise, the beauty of the attraction isn't in so much the attraction itself. It's the theming of the area, because how they have, you kind of walk through this hangar bay of, for lack of better terms. You have Hondo Ohnaka from Clone Wars and Rebels, who introduces himself and kind of sets up the whole mission. Voiced by Jim Cummings. Beautiful animatronic. Does very lifelike. So, and then you walk through this kind of like an airport, kind of like the entranceway that you use to get onto an airplane. I forget the technical name of those walkways, but the walkway that you would use to get onto an airplane, same thing that they have you
a hangar.
Yeah, to get on into the Falcon. Even the plates are buckled, so that way when you step, it feels like this old and just questionable type of area. And then you walk onto the Falcon itself, and that was just, I just want to, it's like Chewie, we're home. It is so special.
I know. Our kids wanted to actually sit there and actually play chess.
They wanted to play,
wanted to play Star Wars chess.
Turn it on, Dad. I can't turn it on. They have it turned off. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's just a prop.
It's just a prop.
But it's so realistic
that it makes you think that it would actually work.
And it's just you are on the set. That you feel like you are on the set of the Millennium Falcon from the movies. It is so well detailed and just so, you got the hallways and just everything is where it should be.
Yeah, I mean it really was impressive.
And then you walk off up to the cockpit, and again the theming of it's just everything looks right. The only thing missing from the cockpit is his dice. That's the only thing not there.
Chewy.
And you get 2 extra seats because there's only 4 seats in the movie. There's 6 seats in this.
Yeah.
And but the attraction is what the attraction is. But I think what really makes that attraction is the theming of the Falcon, and the attraction is just a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool. I mean, it was cool. It was definitely a cool experience. And then we went and did Star Tours as well.
Yeah. Star Tours,
which is always fun.
Just fun.
It was fun. We actually got a new scene that I don't think I've seen before. I don't remember, at least anyway. I know we've done it multiple times, but I don't remember seeing that one. So that was
we got a different part.
A different part. I thought that was pretty cool. And then the kids got to build the plastic lightsabers in the store, so they were excited about
the
that.
Economical build your own lightsabers. The ones that've been there for the longest time. Yeah, the $30 job of, with the retractable plastic tubes and the flashlights, LED flashlights.
Yep.
But they enjoyed that. That shop has some nice stuff. I'm still kind of kicking myself that I didn't get the Wrecker mug from Bad Batch. For my tea. Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Maybe next time. I know. What do you need another tea mug for? But it's Wrecker. It's Bad Batch.
And then we went over and we had lunch at ABC Commissary, which was really good.
You have to mobile order before they let you in.
Yep. Definitely mobile order before you go in. They will not let you in the building because it's an air conditioning sit-down building. So you definitely need to mobile order. And they will not even let you in until the mobile order says it's ready.
Which I don't understand, because it says, your food is ready. Check in now for it to be prepared.
Whatever. I mean,
so if you have to still prepare it, then it's not ready.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
That's just a little gripe. That's besides the point. Food was really good.
Food was good. Food was good.
No, we did commissary before Smuggler's Run because.
Oh yeah, you ran and got the
Dave and I went to go.
Yeah.
Actually get the pass for there, and we saw the Falcon together, and that
they had a bromance moment.
Yeah, that was.
Why the girls stayed behind?
The girls stayed behind, got the food. The guys ran ahead and saw the Falcon for the first time,
Which, to be honest with you, I think the two of you needed to do that by yourselves and not have us women standing behind you going, "What are you crying for?" But no,
we did. I've gone misty-eyed, but it's and you get giddy, especially if you. I mean, my first movie was Star Wars. The first movie I ever saw was Star Wars, and I used to watch it religiously on VHS. So to come around and to see the life-size Falcon just parked there, it's not the most beautiful thing in the world. It's not the most amazing technologically or design thing, but it is special.
It is a sight.
It
is a sight.
It's kind of just wow.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's something that only existed on screen.
Yeah, it was cool.
Is now fully there, life size in all of its glory. Right there, you can't touch the ship, but to be that close to it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It is special. It is really cool. We found the hidden Millennium Falcon on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's several pictures, selfies later, and many pictures.
Yep.
Then we went back to Met You Girls at the ABC commissary, which I have to say keeps upping their game with the food there.
Yeah, definitely a much. We've eaten there in the past, and I will have to say it was definitely an upgraded version.
Even
of
the
food.
previous time that we ate there, I think 2 years ago, it was again stepped up from what.
Well, we had dinner or something, I think, there the last time.
We had something, and it was a nicer experience. They keep trying to make it more of a nicer experience, not just another quick serve area.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed it. I was a little iffy about it, but I actually turned out to like it. I just got a cheeseburger, but it was really, it was a sriracha cheeseburger, and it was really good. So I was happy.
I don't remember.
I was starving, so it was. I devoured it.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Make sure to tune in for part 2 and our next episode. In the meantime, what is some of the stuff you'd like to do to help build up and for your planning to go to the parks? Let us know. Join in the conversation on Facebook. Our Facebook group is facebook.com/group/Disney Marvels Podcast. Also find us on Instagram at Disney Marvels Podcast, TikTok at Disney Marvels Podcast, and on the Twitter at Disney Marvels. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we have been doing some live episodes. I will be bringing those back shortly. You can also leave a voice message through our Anchor app or Anchor.fm website, or record a message electronically on your laptop, phone, tablet, you name it, and email it, along with any questions, suggestions, or anything that you have to say to us to disneymarvels@gmail.com. Don't forget to also check out the Disney Marvels blog at disneymarvels.blogspot.com. Links to all these are in our show notes. I want to thank you for your time. I know how little time you all have these days, especially kids are going back to school, full-time school, and everything's kind of changing in different directions than what we've been dealing with in the past year. And it's a lot of change, a lot of things happening at once. Trust me, I know. That's why this episode's taken so long to come out. We've been working on it for quite a while. So the fact that you've spent this time with us really means a lot to me. And I really appreciate it. If I could just ask one other favor, please go on to Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating. You could just leave us a star rating, or you can write a review. If you write the review, I'll even read it online, most likely. We have all 5-star reviews right now. I am truly blessed and honored. Thank you so much. Keep them coming, because the more reviews that we get, the more Apple will do its job in trying to help promote the show. Or you could also promote the show itself. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, anyone that you know that's into Disney. Check out the Disney Marvel Podcast. A lot of cool stuff going on there. Because the bigger the Disney family, the better. Walt believed in a big Disney family, so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted. And also consider becoming a premium subscriber. Help the show out. keep the lights on, as it were, and allow us to bring you more of this, content. Not everything, unfortunately, is free. You can do this over at anchor.fm/DisneyMarvels/support, and you can also find our Patreon page, also check out our merchandise shop, where you can get yourself some fun Disney Marvels stuff. Links to all these are also in the show notes, because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. Whatever you're facing out there, whatever troubles seem to be bothering you, whatever is weighing on you, you're not alone. And the first step is realizing you are worth it. There is something special inside of you. There is a light, this glow that people, when they see it, will know how special and wonderful it is. Let that light shine and take that first step. If you need to, ask for help. Be your own hero. Never give up. Never give in. Let the light shine for everyone. Now, I'd like to end this show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. The important thing is the family. If you can keep the family together, and that's the backbone of our whole business, catering to families, that's what we hope to do. And that's from Walt Disney himself. Thank you again for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.